A lot of people have made a big stink about the fact that, like, if you beeline it and you know everything you need to do, you can actually beat it in 10 minutes. Which just sounds unacceptable, you know, unacceptably short. And game length is one of those things that's it's really, I don't want to say it's a controversial subject, but certainly is a subjective one. You know, I've said a lot of times that I don't think a longer game necessarily makes a better game. Because I've seen so many games that have just been artificially padded out, you know, through backtracking, through repetitive environments, through reused environments. And I don't think it really does anything for anybody, you know? I'd much rather have a shorter game that keeps me engaged for the full 8 hours I'm playing it than, you know, a 60-hour game where for 40 of those hours I'm just like, oh my god, when's this gonna be over, you know? When it starts to become a chore, that's where I draw the line.
Welcome to Magic Crafters. I want you to release the dragons, reclaim our treasure, and recover the eggs from those pesky blue thieves.
Alright, so that's our first look at Magic Crafter Dragon. As you would expect, he looks a little bit more scholarly, right? You know, he's got kind of beady little eyes, he's got his little wizard's beard, you know. The beard, and none of these dragons have real beards, these are just like scales. The scale beards from, you know, the artisan's world, of course, they look more like goatees, you know? Here we have more like what you expect to find from a wizard, you know? Alright. When I say goatees, I really mean mutton chops, I'm sorry. I don't know my facial hair. So as you expect in the Magic Crafter's world, we're going to see lots of magic symbols. There's spades on the wall, there's crescents, we have these checkerboard, almost kind of, suns over here. It's almost kind of a Alice in Wonderland kind of inspiration to it, right? Now we're set in these like snowy Alps. You may recognize this actually from the title screen. Oh, these little alchemists can work magic and just laugh at us, right? Well, maybe if we're a little bit quicker. Haha! We got him before he can finish the spell. I think it's a real testament to the game design that we can have such varied enemies and challenges with a very limited moveset. This is before contextual gameplay elements were a big thing, you know? So pretty much you got the moves that you got, you know? You have as many moves as you have buttons for. And really we only have 2 attacks, but with those 2 attacks and the way that we have to use them against these enemies, I'm not fast enough to get at him. Okay. We have just an endless combination of foes and environments. Right, here's our first portal. We're not going to go in there just yet. I like to complete the hub worlds first, because that way, when you leave a world, all the enemies respawn in it, and you can't tell which ones you've already killed for gems and which ones you haven't. So it's a lot easier to just do it and get one. Oh, I kind of just ran into him by accident. Alright, that's one of our eggs. Again, everything in the Magic Crafter's world is, you see these, marble elements, these, oh hey. Get over here. Marble elements, lots of smooth craftsmanship, you know, everything's, he's still laughing at me even when I'm on the same side as him. Like, I don't really know how to describe that, or just wizardly, you know? Everything seems magic here. Alright, this is somewhat tricky. I gotta charge him without charging him to pull. Whoa! Alright, there we go, made it. Now here, we have our first introduction to a supercharge ramp. Now this is a feature that will come back in later Spyro games as a and it's pretty fun, but it's also pretty hard to control. So let's see what our dragon friend has to say.
When you see arrows like these, you can charge along with them to begin a supercharge.
Supercharge? Excellent.
Go ahead, try it.
And try it we shall. Let's see, this is for high caves. That's one of the trickier levels in Magic Crafters, as I recall. Yeah. I think there was a cave over here, wasn't there? There was! Aha! Oh, but I need a key. Okay. pretty waterfalls, huh? You can totally see why they chose this particular section for the title screen. It really is a pretty section. You got these nice little greenways with pretty lighting and waterfalls. Now, with regards to the game length, I think that I'll definitely, you'll see me taking a lot longer on later levels than earlier levels. Ha! Gotcha. Partially because this is back before the days of adaptive difficulties. So, like, you know, if you died a lot on a certain level, you couldn't just bump it down to an easy level. You actually, you had one difficulty all the way through. So, it was very important that you had a very definite difficulty curve, you know? So you start off with easy levels and you get progressively harder and progressively harder. So, as a result, later levels are indeed a little bit trickier than early levels. That's what I need to charge for. I need to be able to hit that thing. Okay. Later levels are a little bit trickier than earlier levels. And then in addition to that, I have less experience with later levels because I've played the first 3 worlds of this game, you know, ever since I was 10 years old. But there's certain parts of the game that I never got to until I came back and played it when I was older. So I have a little bit less experience with it. Oh no! Push me in the ooze. Why would you do that, guy? That was unfriendly. Indeed, it's hard to tell if that actually is water or ooze. I like these little weather witches. They're pretty cool. And they're a little storm cloud that follows them around. I think there's a dragon in that cave that we forgot to save. Let's go get that real quick.
This portal leads to a special place where you can learn to fly. I remember when I was a young dragon, earning my wings.
Learn to fly. Got it.
Indeed, even though we've already completed 2 flight realms in the other levels, this is the first one that's readily apparent. You know, if you didn't know where to look, if you didn't get to those hidden areas, this might be the first flight level that you actually encounter. So that's why he kind of explains it a little bit. Yeah, with these pretty Alps, Alpine Skies. I like how skyboxes, the environments, you know, they suggest real-world environments. You know, there's a kind of suggestion of realism, but not quite. You know, we amp up the colors just a little bit. It's a little bit too saturated. The trees are, well, obviously the trees don't look very realistic at all, but the proportions are just a little bit off. You know, and again, it's almost on like a Tim Burton kind of level. Not as creepy, certainly not as you know, grim or dark as a lot of what we see in Tim Burton stuff, but it is uncanny. Uncanny is really the word that I'm looking for here, and I think that's part of what makes it so memorable. Oh no! Well, there's a couple of solutions here. I could just go around. I think that's what I'll do. There we go. Now that he stopped messing with that, was there any gems on top of this? I don't think there was. Okay. Here we have Blowhard. That's the boss of the Magic Crafters. We'll go him last. Although, interestingly enough, again, because boss fights are very different in Spyro from other games, we could do the boss fight first. The boss is really just optional. Tuco, what do you need? Oh, okay, you do need actually Dragon Eggs in order to unlock a certain world. Okay. We're gonna stay here though. Alright, so I told you wrong. Dragon Eggs are just like gems and dragons themselves, a method for gating the world. Okay. So we got a key, I think, and I think it's where our last 10 treasure is, so we just need to go back and use the key. Up and away. Yeah. Alright, should be 300 out of 300, right? Perfect. Check your inventory, make sure we got our dragons. Yep, 3 out of 3. Looking good. Now, just to illustrate it, I am going to go ahead and do the boss level first, just for funsies. I do like the Magic Crafters world. It's not one of my favorites. It's none of the levels here are really in my top favorite levels. Really everything that I've enjoyed the most has been in the Dreamweaver's world and the Artisan's world. And there's a couple levels that I really like in Peacekeepers as well. Oh, and Peacemakers, for that matter. Actually, Dreamweavers and Peacemakers are probably my favorite worlds, all told. But Magic Crafters, for a reason, it just, I don't know, it doesn't strongly resonate with me, but whatever. I think part of it is we see a little bit less of that variation in environments that I was touting so much in the levels, you know. With regards to Artisans, we have a lava level, and we also have, you know, hills, we have a night garden. And then Peacekeepers, we have deserts, we have ice caverns, and all that's cool. Here, we kind of, like, pretty much all the levels are in this alpine setting. You know, there's a little variation between it, but it's almost like just different times of day in kind of the same environment. Now, we do see different architecture here because we are in a Magic Crafters world. Whereas the Artisans was, you know, very Western Europe medieval architecture. Here we have more of kind of an Arabian or an